Okay, guys, not sure if this is working or not. I had some technical difficulties today when we recorded the webinar about an hour ago, the weekly strategy session webinar. I did have the record button pressed. I know I did, but I heard that Zoom is kind of on the fritz today. And for whatever reason, they didn't give me the recording after the webinar ended. So what I'm attempting to do now is to stream the same content. I'm going to redo it, stream it live into the Facebook group here. So just bear with me. I want to make sure the live stream is working. I haven't done one of these streaming directly into a group in a while, and I'm going to jump on, and this will be the way that we get the recording down inside of the Facebook group for this week's content. The topic this week is success strategies in an uncertain market. It looks like it's working. I can see the actual post live in the Facebook group. Thanks for your patience with me. So I'm going to dive in right now. You guys can comment down below. There's 11 of you watching. Wow. Okay. So just comment down below. Let me know you can hear me. Again, I'm alone. I don't have anybody else moderating with this with me. And I'll try to keep an eye on your comments in the Facebook page in my other monitor. Okay. So the topic again today was success strategies in an uncertain market. These are crazy, nutty times. So the idea here with the webinar is just to talk about some tactics and strategies we might use to keep things going with our businesses as we go into uncertain times. So long term, some things to consider, maybe a little pep talk, but of course, people will still buy and sell real estate no matter what happens, right? We're in the brokerage business. People are always going to want to buy, sell, rent, have their properties managed. So it's not like the business is coming to an end all of a sudden. It's lasted through periods like this before. Money is still cheap. We all know this. Interest rates will probably stay low for a while with all the things the Fed is doing. So compared to 18% interest rates that they had in the mid 80s, we're looking good. You know, it's still easy for a first-time buyer not easy, but it's still possible for a first-time buyer to get pre-approved for a mortgage and not pay an arm and a leg on interest. And the environment's friendly. A lot of second home owners, I'm going to bring out my pen here to make this more interesting. A lot of people who own second homes and investment properties may want to liquidate their properties right now to cover stock market losses. They might have a newfound need for cash for whatever reason. Maybe their retirement's being accelerated or whatever. So just something to think about. There's stuff going on with the stock market and some opportunity maybe there. A lot of people might shift more to real estate because of what's happening in the stock market, because they're kind of getting a wake-up call, maybe you'd call it, and they're saying, whoa, this is more volatile than I thought. It's not going up, up, up anymore. Where can I go? Where can I put my money where it won't be as risky? There won't be less volatility. Other people might be thinking, there are some people out there, I won't comment politically, but some people might be thinking that a bank run is coming, right? With what the Fed is doing, depending on how you think about these things. But there are people out there who are worried that their cash sitting in the bank isn't a good idea, and real estate could be a safer place to put it. If we see a wave of foreclosures like in 08 or 09, people will need help, right? That there will be people will need to find rentals if they can't own their homes anymore. There will be lots of property management going on. Sellers might be short selling again. So experts are going to be needed who know how to navigate a short sale with the banks. And then you're going to have the investors. There's always an investor market, but you're going to have that REO business going on. So somebody who's, if you're willing to do what a lot of smart agents did back in, say, 2010, 2011, they aligned with asset managers, did that work, and were able to get a lot of REO listings. And of course, on the buy side of that, there's opportunity. All that said, of course, normal will be back eventually. And one key thing to remember is that if you are building a business for the long term, it might not stop. It might not make sense to stop generating leads. I head up the advertising department with Inside Real Estate. We are getting some people saying, hey, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. I need to pause my ad spend. And I can understand that might be out of necessity in a lot of households. You know, there's a lot going on, and totally understand that. But if you don't need to do it and you're only pausing because you think maybe business won't be good for a few months, I might recommend that you rethink that. What that's going to cause is some peaks and valleys in your business that you might not want. And it does make sense to keep your foot on the gas pedal, so to speak, especially considering that a lot of online leads in particular, they don't convert for 3, 6, 12, 24, they might not convert for 3 to 5 years. So, whatever you do now to tail back really isn't going to affect you now unless you really need the cash short term that you're spending on your leads. And really, you shouldn't be, in a lot of cases, you should only be investing what you have, right? That said, another thing here is that a lot of your competitors will scale back their advertising either out of necessity or out of the same emotional irrationality. So there could be opportunity there. I'm already seeing in some of the numbers where the cost per lead is coming down because there's less competition. If you think about, if you had 2 weeks ago, 10 agents competing for the same Google search term like Tampa, Florida real estate, but now there's only 6 left. Google works on an auction system where the click goes to the highest bidder with the best quality score and a number of other things. If you have less people you're competing with, it definitely makes sense that you might get cheaper leads now. And it is the same lead. It's still somebody who might want to buy or sell with you. Thank you, Thomas, for commenting, just to let me know that this is working okay. And again, if anybody wants to comment below, let me know. If you want to do me a favor, we've never done a live like this, or I haven't done one in a long time. Why don't you tag some other people at your office if you want? Just just say hey, and give it a little interaction here. See if we can get some other people watching. But yeah, great. So that's some long-term things to consider. The world isn't coming to an end. There might actually be some opportunity. Short-term tactics. So some things we can do short-term in this uncertain environment. We can definitely keep learning. A lot of us have a lot more time. We're not taking the kids to the games. We're not hanging out with our friends on the weekends. We're hanging out at home. So this is a good time to watch some of these webinars. You can go to insiderealestate.com/strategy. You can watch all our strategy session webinar replays. You can brush up on learning how to do video, some of the things I'm about to talk about, outside of Inside Real Estate. Other stuff you can learn is go and look back at what people did, study what people did in 08, 09, maybe network in some Facebook groups, ask the people who've been in the business, for 10 or more years, what did they do to survive through those times? You might get some good tips there as well. Thanks for tagging, William. I'm looking at the Facebook in the other window. So keep learning, right? There's opportunity to sharpen the saw. If you're not active and you're not out showing houses for whatever reason, sellers don't want you coming in their house with people. Keep learning. Other thing, as I said, keep your advertising spends where they're at if you can afford to. The competition's pulling back. Ads are getting cheaper. As I just said, I did a specific analysis. The 5-day period from last Friday to yesterday, when it felt for me like things really kind of hit the fan a little bit, to the 5-day period prior to that, I went into a couple of our ad accounts, but in one of our big ad accounts where we have thousands of leads flowing for lots of different customers, the cost per lead is down 7%. So to me, that kind of proves out the theory that you have less competition bidding. A lot of the bigger companies might be pulling back on their advertising budgets because they just, their stock value went down a lot. You're competing with less advertisers. So keep those ads going if you can afford to, maybe even scale them up maybe. And this will help you avoid peaks and valleys. Let me drop this doc for those of you who didn't get it earlier when I did this live on Zoom. I'll drop this doc in the comments of the Facebook Live right here. So drop it in a comment and I'll add it above the live afterwards. Let me drop it here for you guys. So just scroll through the comments. You'll see I dropped the doc somewhere. Okay, so some practical, tactical things we can do right now. Well, one of the big ones would be virtual open houses and virtual showings. So yesterday I was able to put a course, created a quick little course, not anything mind-blowing. A lot of this stuff you guys already know, but a quick kind of walkthrough of how you might do a virtual open house event. So I went in, there's a video about how to create a Facebook event. There's some videos about how to create a landing page that promotes the event so that you can generate a lead before somebody gets to your event page. Experience down below. All right, have a go. I'm bogging down my computer a little here. Sorry if the audio is bad. And there's a little bit about how to run an ad for your virtual open house. And so on. So definitely, if you're not already on board and haven't started doing live events, now's probably a good time to do so. And there's big opportunity. You could go out every day of the week, pick a vacant house, go by yourself, right? You don't have to interact with other people. Go to a vacant house and say, hey, I'm doing a virtual open house tour of this property. throw up a Facebook event page for it and start inviting people. And it could be a good way for you to stay front and center and generate a little bit of activity where there might not have been any before. So here's the demo page. I did one for my school bus yesterday as I created the course. And this whole thing could take you 5-10 minutes to set up. You upload a picture of the property, you set the time, you invite some friends to check it out. And if you want to go the extra mile in the course, I show you how to create a landing page and do some other promotion as well. So that's in the learning portal in KV Core. Just click learning portal and do a quick search for virtual open house and it should pop up. Other things you guys can do, we can all do, is events like I'm doing right now. So instead of doing an open house, you could spin up Zoom, which is what I'm using, hook it up to your Facebook group or your Facebook page, and I'm streaming right now as a Facebook live event. And your topics could be stuff like, I'm getting a little nutty here, but things to know about buying your first home in the apocalypse, right? So you could take this topic, you could open up, say, Google Drive or PowerPoint. So I'll do that real quick. My computer's definitely dragging a little with this streaming to Facebook Live today. So, so you go into Google Drive, you use Google Slides, and I actually did this earlier, so I'll just show you the slides I created. You can create quick little black text on white slides like this that highlight some bullet points about your point. Did I spell desperate wrong? And simply start streaming into Facebook about a topic. And you can create an event page at a specific time, or you can just do it anytime. Hey, here's some reasons why, things you might want to know if you actually want to buy a house in this environment. Rates look like they're going to be low for a while. So it's a good time to lock in a low interest rate, a low mortgage payment. Just don't count on the value of the house appreciating too much. We don't know where things are going to go. Another thing to consider is, hey, sellers might be desperate for an offer if they really need to move. There's less buyers out there competing with you, so you might be able to get a better deal. And in general, zig when they zag, and so on. So just an example of the kind of content that you can create to generate business if you're not having people as much inbound activity as you were. If some of your current leads have gone dark, for example, they don't want to see houses, you were showing them stuff, but they're kind of taking a pause with you. You can do this stuff to fill the downtime. Another idea a few ideas for these kind of presentations. How to invest in St. Pete, Florida real estate while there's blood in the streets. Is now the right time to sell your house before the world ends? Again, I'm getting a little crazy. Don't get yourself into trouble or cause too much static. Word it how you would for your personality. On the earlier webinar, somebody mentioned, hey, I could get in trouble with my broker for being too controversial. So if that's you, don't do that. But you don't want to be boring. Make it fun and exciting and interesting. Another topic, how to cash out, refinance your mortgage now, so you have cash on hand to buy an investment property if values go down a lot. That would be a good one to get your mortgage lender on and just talk about the process. Yeah, you can cash out, rates are low, you put a new lower interest rate in place, maybe you take some of your equity out, leave it sitting in the banks, or buy silver or gold if you're worried about a bank run. And then if you see values go down a lot, you can buy while there's, for lack of a better term, blood in the streets. So presentations like that. Other things we can do to make our own markets is here's some ad ideas that would create a market where there wasn't one before. So a lot of people in the industry, I'm losing my voice a little from doing this twice today. A lot of people in the industry are kind of only dealing with the buyers and sellers who are in the market and ready now, the people who have kind of self-identified themselves today to be motivated. But it is possible with ad creative and copy, and by putting these ideas out there and putting them in people's heads, to create business where it might not have happened before. So that's what I mean by make your own markets. So you could do for people who are prepping for the apocalypse. That's a certain percentage. It's a niche portion of the population. It's probably a growing one right now. And you can do offers like, hey, secluded properties with 10 plus acres in the middle of Texas. And you might take that ad and show it to people who live in a densely populated city like Philadelphia. Park your money in land. It won't crash 8% in one day, right? So people who have just taken a bath in the stock market, but they still have assets, they might be thinking now, maybe something a little less volatile like land makes sense. The Fed's printing a lot of money, worried about a bank run, park your assets in real estate. So a lot of people are, I have a feeling silver and gold might go a little haywire. I know the spot price, the difference between spot and purchase online on some of those assets has gone up. It's because people see what the Fed is doing and are worried about inflation and don't want to be in cash. So real estate's another thing that is not cash that people could put their assets in. But so by just creating an ad like that, showing it on Facebook or on other channels to the marketplace, you're going to attract people who those ideas resonate with, and you can create business for yourself, even if things have slowed down in the regular residential retail marketplace, you know, the normal buyer and seller activity. Other ad ideas for homeowners who might be thinking about selling. You could do something like, in these uncertain times, a lot of homeowners are thinking about cashing out their equity to build up reserves to weather the coming storm. If you'd like to talk about why it makes sense to get your house on the market now, get in touch. A lot of people are looking to downsize to prepare for uncertain times. They want a smaller payment. They think they're not going to, you know, they're going to lose their job or something. If you've thought about selling, you know, get in touch. Hit hard by the stock market. If you think selling one of your investment properties might be a good way to replenish your cash reserves, I can help. So there's a lot of people out there who own multiple properties. A good way to find them might be to go into Remine or into your tax database in your MLS and just look for absentee owners, people who own multiple properties, and start sending letters or find their contact info, you know, online, their email addresses, and contact them. You know, if you're, the thing about all these ideas is that most of your competitors aren't going to do this. And if you just pick one or two of them and try them out, and you do it consistently for a few weeks, I can almost guarantee some level of result. You know, this is just, you know, all marketing in general. I heard somebody explain this really well recently in a course I was taking. Marketing in general is just taking people's attention and diverting it to a desired result. So the attention right now is on the state of things with the stock market and the coronavirus and everything else. If you can take that attention, kind of join the conversation in somebody's brain, what they're thinking about, and divert it over into your desired result, and hopefully it's a result that helps them and serves them as well, and divert them into selling their property or buying a certain property to solve a problem that they're thinking about. That's the way it's done. So if you guys have any different angles like this, I'd love to hear about them in the comments down below. I'm sure everybody else would. Just comment below, say, hey, yeah, I'm going to try this. If you've done any virtual open houses and you want to share a link, definitely drop that. If you're watching this live feed or the recording, drop that in too. I'm sure everybody would like to see those. A few more ideas. Ads targeting investors. These are kind of the tried and true that always work, but they should resonate really well right now. Free weekly list of vacant properties. Free weekly list of properties with motivated sellers. Free weekly list of bank-owned foreclosures. Price reduced lots and land lists. So these sort of niche ad types that I talk about a lot in these webinars may really, you might have more of an audience for them now than you would otherwise. So anybody have any questions? I know there's a lag between the Facebook Live and the comments. So I'll hang out after this presentation and answer comments. This is a little shorter than it was when I had 50 people watching me live an hour ago, and we had a lot more Q&A. But I figured I would get the recording down in the live like this. Bottom line is, even, you know, we don't know where things are going to go. This could be a short-term slowdown. It could be longer term. But I think we're in an excellent business. Real estate brokerage is not going anywhere. It just might require that we think a little bit differently and a little bit outside of the box, adjust to market conditions. And I think this is an opportunity for all of us to step up and really serve people in need, not only by selling real estate, but a lot of us, you know, a lot of people listening to this, you know, you're leaders in the community. People respect what you think. You know a lot of things. You know, you're polymaths. You study not only real estate but other stuff. So if we can engage some of these modern tools like video, doing these live events, educating others, it could really help everybody all around. So along those lines, when I did the webinar live, we talked about some of the tools that might be needed as a little bonus to get this done. I'm using zoom.us. Everybody's probably heard of that. So I think you can get a Zoom account for free and record for up to 40 minutes. Screencast-O-Matic is by far my favorite screencasting software. All the videos you see me doing are recorded with Screencast-O-Matic. There's a lot you can green screen with those. I just learned how to do that. You can do all kinds of fun editing, and it's something like $50 for a whole year, $3 or $4 a month or something for that. And then somebody showed me Streamlabs on the earlier webinar today, which is a streaming, kind of lets you do what I'm doing right now, streaming to Facebook Live or YouTube, which you can do with Zoom as well. So definitely comment below with a few things. Comment below with any of the tools you're using for video. If you have any Facebook events or lives that you've done, comment below if you want to share with everybody else so that everybody can kind of learn from what you're doing. Ask your questions in the comments below. Share this video with anybody on your team or at your office you think could benefit from some of these ideas. And as usual, thanks for watching me and listening to me ramble on. We may do more of these lives inside of the group like this. It seems like this is going pretty well, but I'll be back next week at 2 p.m. East and promise to do my best to get the recording to work. And I know that I hit that record button. I think Zoom's just a little overwhelmed and something went wrong. but yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I appreciate your comments and attention. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.